Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Warcraft 3 replay cast, and today it is a 1 vs 1 on Twisted Meadows between our orange undead player Tricksta and our gray orc player BillyMilligan, and of course we're going to speed this up just a little bit to the 2-minute mark when all the heroes come out and all the good stuff happens.
Summoning is complete. Summoning.
And looks like we have a Farseer for the orc, and that is a very unusual choice, as you rarely ever see the Farseer used. And now moving right towards the Null Overseer camp, and the Death Knight is moving across the map for the orange undead player here, and gonna try and get himself a kill steal with that Death Coil. And Farseer already taking quite a bit of damage there, very unnecessary amount of damage, and the No Warden unfortunately dispels very easily these Spirit Wolves here, and looks like that Death Knight did get that kill. Got himself a kill there, and it was not the Overseer, but it was just a smaller one, and got 48 out of 200 experience. Now going for the Null Brute camp here, and doing damage here, and the Death Knight gonna try and get another kill steal, and nope, not gonna happen this time, and spawning more of those Spirit Wolves and chasing down those skeletal minions there for a little bit of experience and very easy kills. Null Overseer is still left in this camp, and now 4 skeleton warriors here battling it out and chasing them around the map here, splitting them up very well. A Death Coil goes off on that skeletal minion. I think it was a slightly unnecessary Death Coil, but it is what it is, and I'm gonna force that one away. Kills his own skeletal minion, prevents that experience on that Farseer there, and should kill his second minion here very soon. But nope, gets away just in time there, and unnecessary at that point. And now going after the Null Overseer, however, the Death Knight is coming back now to harass again. I'm going to try and Death Coil that Overseer just before it dies there for some free experience. And this is sort of why you don't really use the Overseer so much, as it's just not the most effective hero, really. And the Spirit Wolves simply just sort of feed your opponent, as they're very easy to dispel, very easy to kill. And you sort of drain your mana casting the Spirit Wolves over and over. The Grunts chasing after the Death Knight there in the Crypt Fiend, and still trying to take out this Overseer here. So he's having a lot of hard time there with the Overseer. And Death Knight was trying to get in position there to kill steal that Overseer. And the Crypt Fiend sort of spying for him so he can see what's going on and may get this kill. Nope, not gonna get the kill. The undead was going to try and steal it, but it was a little bit too late. A Claws of Attack +6 for the Farseer, and now a pretty good item for a Farseer there, as he's ranged, and ranged characters always do very well with Claws of Attack, other than, of course, the Blade Master, Demon Hunter, that sort of thing. And now going on back to base here, going to have to go back to his Voodoo Lounge there, buy some salves, and now the Death Knight here spawning some more minions, and needs to go off and start creeping for himself, as there's really not much else left to steal. Probably gonna go after his Null Overseer camp himself. And now the Farseer moving across the map, a level 2 Farseer, and indeed going after the Null Overseer camp here. However, the Farseer gonna spot this here and give the undead a little bit of trouble, give him a little bit of taste of his own medicine, if you will. Death Knight gets the kill on that with these skeletal minions, and out running on back to base. Death Knight very low in health, 250 out of 675, and now spawns more Spirit Wolves, and now chasing down the Death Knight again, and now moving back towards the Overseer camp. Could get that camp for himself. Now that there's one less, should be pretty easy to get, and those Crypt Fiends giving him a hard time there, but not doing too much now. Half health on that one Crypt Fiend, and healing rapidly on the Blight, but does not have Unholy Aura just yet. Did get that Death Coil first. And almost got the surround there on on a Grunt. And the Chain Lightning there takes out one of those spiders, and now the Overseer gonna fall here to give that experience to the Farseer, and now it's sort of a race to get that Gloves of Haste, as he definitely wants to get that. Now the Death Knight in trouble now, 16 health, and destroys that Death Knight, so very early Death Knight loss for the undead player. Big loss, 87 health left on that Grunt. Those spiders were focus firing, but that Scroll of Speed there, allowing that Grunt to get away very quickly, and the Spider gonna go down now. A level 3 Farseer, so a very surprisingly effective Farseer. At first wasn't so good. was having a very hard time with that creep camp, but now absolutely dominating those skeletal warriors, giving them a little bit of a hard time, but not doing too much as they do such low damage. And now only 2 left. Another spider gonna fall here. A very early second hero for our orc player. We have the Shadow Hunter now out for his second hero, the Undead Death Knight here. Now back in action, and additional spiders being created here. And the slaughterhouse now going up for our undead player. Now moving on back to base, probably going to pick up some more salves here. We'll see where he decides to go, whether it's back to base or additional creeping. And taking a long way around. Let's see where he's going to go. Perhaps to the Ogre Magi camp here. Looks like that is indeed the case. And now the Death Knight moving across the map on the bottom side here. Needs to do himself some creeping as he's still only level 1. And that means he's in sort of big trouble here. Needs to catch up very quickly to the fact that he has a level 3 opponent and a level 1 opponent. Now the Farseer are going to back off here. Give all this experience to the Shadow Hunter, which will bring him to level 2. Tome of Agility drops, not the most useful item, but it is for the Shadow Hunter. But the Shadow Hunter doesn't really do too much damage himself, not really the main goal of the Shadow Hunter. Pair of Vitality has dropped for the Shadow Hunter. And finishes off the camp there. Now 285 health towards 285 experience towards a level 3. And now a Lich is out for the second hero for our undead player, now going after the Troll Warlord camp. And gonna bring them out a little bit here, make it a little bit easier. And gonna go after this Ogre Warrior first. And now both heroes gonna equally benefit from this camp here, as both heroes are very, very low. But here comes the undead player, or the orc player rather, and gonna spot this. And the Troll Warlord gonna fall, and the Belt of Giant Strength goes on the Death Knight there. And not too bad of an item for a Death Knight. An additional boost in health, and the damage sort of negligible, only 6 damage, but why not? And takes out one of those crit fiends there with Chain Lightning, and gets it before that Death Coil hits. And it looks like a Dire Wolf here, or another crit fiend rather, gonna fall very soon, very low on health. And the Lich now is completely surrounded, and gonna lose that Lich too. So the orc player just absolutely dominating this match. Now Wind Riders are out for our orc player as well. This grunt here, only 14 health, takes out that grunt there with a Death Coil, and now gonna have to town portal back into his base a little bit for a little bit of safety here. Doesn't really have any Ziggurat or Spirit Towers or Nerubian Towers here to defend himself. Just simply the Halls of the Dead firing. And now the Death Knight forcing away the orc player for just a moment here, just to recapture himself, and loses another grunt to that Death Coil. Now a level 3 Death Knight, and that Lich should be out very quickly, as it was only a level 1. So here it comes already, and the Death Knight in trouble. Getting netted over and over by those raiders there, and took a lot of damage in the process. Now the Lich moving forward here doesn't have enough mana for a Frost Nova, but will soon have that at 125. And we'll need to pick a good spot to hit. And we'll see if he just reserves that mana. Probably shouldn't really use it just now. Now a level 2 Lich for our undead player, and a level 3 Death Knight. Now for the orc player, we have a level 3 Farseer and a level 2 Shadow Hunter. The Farseer is almost level 4. Now healing up for our orc player with salves, and of course clarity potions. And the undead player now moving over to the right side of the map here towards the rock golem camp, as he definitely needs to catch up in the experience as soon as possible. Going after that troll high priest first to stop that healing. And our orc player wandering around, also taking care of a golem camp of his own. And Forest Troll goes down quickly there. The mud golem, the next target here. We'll see what items drop for these players. And the rock golem here for the orc player going to go down first. A Cloak of Shadows and a Potion of Greater Mana. So a Cloak of Selling, but the Greater Mana is definitely good to have. A Tome of Strength +2 and a Belt of Giant Strength has dropped for our undead player here. And he sold his original one by the looks of it to catch up in the gold game, since he was losing pretty badly there at the start of the game. So he sold his original Belt of the Giant Strength, but he got a new one. So it would be very interesting to actually have seen him with the second one had he not gotten rid of it. So he could have plus 12 strength on a Death Knight, which would be a pretty formidable Death Knight. Although the Death Knight relies greatly on the fact that he needs mana for the Death Coils to cast over and over and over. So it wouldn't be the greatest thing in the world, but it'd be very interesting to see. A Tome of Intelligence plus 2 drops, puts that on the Farseer right off the bat, and a Flute of Accuracy has dropped for our Orc player, which is a pretty good item, although some of his units are not ranged, but these Wyverns, the Wind Riders, will benefit greatly with the plus 4 damage.
Summoning is complete.
And takes down this camp as well. See what items dropped. A Pendant of Energy, and decides to put that on his Lich, which could equally go on either of the heroes here. If it was on the Death Knight, he could actually cast quite a bit more Death Coils, and if it's on the Lich, he could cast quite a bit more Frost Novas. So either way, a pretty good bet. And now taking out the ghouls very quickly here on the Undead. And Town Portal's back, and going to defend himself here. And the Lich all the way in the back in a pretty good spot here, and could Frost Nova a couple times on his opponent here. Could hit those Wind Riders when they're low and finish them off. And the Spider here taking big damage. Takes a Death Coil. There goes a Frost Nova and takes it out, finishes it up. And the Spider's faring fairly well here, but losing out pretty quick to these Wind Riders, and the Raiders that are just forcing themselves on them. Buries one of the Crypt Fiends there, and now the Death Knight in a little bit of trouble here, getting roped over and over by those Raiders. And there he goes, gonna get away a little bit here, but all of the damage is on that Death Knight there. Loses the Death Knight. Now it's all on the Lich here, and I don't think that's gonna happen. The Lich is gonna be focus fired next, and will die very quickly here, as he only really has enough mana for one more Frost Nova. Actually needs 5 mana, and really isn't going to do too much there against that Farseer and the Shadow Hunter. And hits the troops there, and a pretty good Frost Nova actually, but I don't think it's going to cut it. His Death Knight is on the way, but it's going to take a significant amount of time, and he simply doesn't have the Crypt Fiends to be able to deal with these Wind Riders, and his Crypt is about to fall any moment now, which he will then no longer be able to produce any Crypt Fiends. And the Crypt Fiend spawned on the wrong side of town there, and takes a lot of damage because of it. And going to lose that Crypt Fiend there. And now Wind Rider in a little bit of trouble here, down to 24 health. It kills a Wind Rider, and definitely needs that at this moment. And we have Feral Spirits now being cloaked and going after these Obsidian statues, and the Obsidian statue is going to fall very quickly now. And Tricksta GG's out, leaving BillyMilligan the winner. And we will take a look at the score real quick here. And so you guys can go ahead and pause if you would like to take a look at these stats at the end of the game. I did have a couple requests for me to go over the stats at the end of the game. And so some people find this very interesting to look at and to go over. So there you guys go. You can just go ahead and pause the game just to take a look at those stats. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.